Hello, this is Dragon Tank 1400, and this is All Grown Up Season 5, Episode 2 review. The name of the episode is Trading Places. Finally, it's been since Season 2, but we finally got a Kimmy-focused episode. And a Kimmy-Chucky episode, but unlike episode in Season 1 where it was just bad Kimmy, where Kimmy just motivated the plot for character development for Chucky, it was the complete opposite. Chucky motivated the plot for he didn't really motivate the plot. He kind of had a side plot, but he didn't get any really character development. It was Kimmy who got all the character development in this episode, which a little bit here and there from other characters, but this was a very Kimmy centered episode, even though Kimmy wasn't in it as much. She was in it a lot, but for a Kimmy focused episode, you could have seen more of her. However, you didn't need to see more of her, and she didn't need to say as many lines, that many lines, to really get across that, oh, this is what's going on with Kimmy. Oh, she's getting I'll just go right into the story right now. So what we got going on here is Kimmy's upset, and this is my only complaint about the episode, is that they kept mentioning that Chucky and Kimmy were close, and that if something was wrong with Kimmy, she would mention it to Chucky. They should have done this in previous episodes of the series, where Kimmy went to Chucky when something was wrong and stuff like that. I know they did it here and there, but they should have done it more, because they mentioned it I think 3 times, and it kind of got overly done because it was just in the first 10 minutes of the episode. But that's my only complaint. Everything else was great. So Kimmy's obviously really upset, and she's not speaking to Chucky. She's not speaking to anyone. Mr. Pengworm tries, and he can't. There's actually a really funny scene with him with the poetry. It's he says, "Oh, this isn't even a haiku; it's a limerick or something." I don't know poetry, but he does. So it was a kind of good throwback that he's a poet or whatever. I really like that scene. And the fact that Kimmy won't open up to anyone, and we get to see her kind of explode at the mailman. It was just a lot of funny scenes there, and Chucky's defending the mailman or whatever, and Chucky's wondering what's going on, and Kimmy's I hate this stuff, I hate my room, I'm not a baby anymore. And you kind of see tears in her eyes, whatever. So Chucky assumes that it's not, well, he doesn't really assume. He actually talks to Lil and his friends about it, mainly Lil, actually. We don't even know that Phil or Tommy is in the room. We see Dill, but Dill's not really offering any help. It's really only Lil that's offering any sort of advice, and it's obviously that Chucky's directing his question at Lil, which I thought was a good throwback to Rat Traps, where Chucky kind of opens up to Lil. So it seems like they have developed some sort of connection and friendship, where when something's going wrong with Chucky, he'll kind of go to Lil, and it makes sense logically too that he would go to Lil, since Kimmy's really close to Lil as well. We've seen them together in the past. So I don't know. So something's going on behind the scenes there. Maybe not. Maybe it's just little tidbit here, but anyway, so he concludes that it's because of her room, and he wants to redo her entire room. So everyone helps out there. Even Angelica helps out, in the sense that she drives Kimmy away while they're fixing up her room. That's kind of why it's called Trading Places, the episode name. And so of course it's very comical that they don't really know what they're doing and everything. They end up turning out really good, but I really like the part where Phil, well, I'll mention more about his character development later, but the whole part where Kimmy finally opens up to Angelica in the hospital, I just thought that was really comical, because it was the very last person you would expect Kimmy to open up to. She ends up opening up. It's she sees a family, a Japanese family, and in the hospital, and she just starts to cry, and starts to really just open up to Angelica. It was just the situation. It was just kind of a build up. She was going to open up to someone, and it just happens to be Angelica who's right there, probably the most unlikely person. So I thought that was good. So we get back, and of course Kimmy doesn't like like the room. It was kind of like an anticipation. She's like, I hate it. And of course we finally find out why. Like when she opens up to Angelica, we find out that so it was Children's Day in Japan, and like a week ago, and Kimmy's dad, like real dad in Japan, didn't give her anything, and she assumed that it was because her dad and her new stepmom had a new kid, and she was like replaced or whatever. I thought it was really good that to see Chucky kind of really understand what Kimmy was going through, because he kind of went through the same thing when his dad and Kira got married. That Chucky really thought that Kimmy was going to replace him in his eyes, you know. So I just thought it was really good, and Chucky probably gives one of the best scenes. Like I can't exactly remember the line, but it was something with like a heart heart doesn't have walls or whatever. It just can open up to be more. That was a really good like moral of the story, and that kind of brings me up to a moral, like from a Christian standpoint. Yeah, like families may have new members and stuff like that, but parents always have their always have enough room in their heart for all their kids. Now that's not always the case. You know, there's some bad parents out there and stuff like that, but any good parent is going to love all their children. They might not love them equally, but they're going to love all their children. So that was a really good moral. Now Kimmy, like I said, she got some really good character development. We got to see her pretty much like almost like hitting rock bottom in a sense, because she like pretty much was extremely upset about this. This upset her to the point, to like kind of like her breaking point. And we got to see her grow. We got to see her realize that that's not the case, that her dad's gonna love her no matter what. So I really like how they put that in there, because it's something that like All Grown Up doesn't really like mention a whole lot, because pretty much all the kids have parents that aren't divorced except for like Chucky and Kimmy's parents. And we got to see like that kind of side of Kimmy. Actually, Kimmy is the only one with divorced parents, and like the whole thing mixed families, and that's like so common now, at least in the United States. So it was really good. Like I said, like my parents are divorced, and like I really connect with Kimmy because of that. And I really liked that they actually showed like some of the kind of negative stuff that can happen with mixed families and stuff like that. I mean, they didn't like take it to the extreme or whatever. They showed enough of it to be like, oh, this can affect kids negatively and stuff like that. Now I want to briefly mention Phil's character. About his whole like art thing. Like you get to see him kind of line stuff up and everything. Like it was kind of like in the last episode too, where I mentioned that he's extremely artistic, and this episode kind of showcases that too. That Phil is like really artistic, and he's gonna go far in art, and it just depends on what kind of field of art he wants to get into. And he like takes really pride in his creations, and like Lil got mad at him. I don't know, the whole thing with Phil is just funny. So like we kind of know where Phil's gonna end up. Probably he's probably gonna end up being like some artist or something like that, and it's really funny because he's the one that's like the grossest person of the group. So I don't know, like maybe he'll make art out of garbage or something, who knows. Anyway, like there's so many good moments in this episode. I gotta give this episode, even though I had like one complaint about it, where I mentioned earlier, I still gotta give the episode a 10 out of 10. I mean, I'm a little biased towards Kimmy. It was a great episode, great moral, great character development for Kimmy, like a little bit of characters sprinkled in there. It was just great. It was great to see like Angelica as well, kind of be mean but also be nice too. Like that's so Angelica. I don't know. Like 10 out of 10. This is a great episode. Anyway, thanks for watching the review. I screwed up here. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.